Welcome back to Outdoors with Larry Ray on ESPN 790 AM. Brought to you proudly by the Tennessee Wildlife and Resources Agency.
Hey, good Saturday morning. Welcome back to Outdoors with Larry Ray as we roll into our 24th year on the air right here on AM 790 in Memphis. In Brownsville, 1520 AM, 95.3 FM, and, of course, in Jackson, Tennessee on News Talk 101.5. As I told Frank Barton, this is Third Saturday. Frank is in the studio as my co-host, and be prepared. He will do an introduction later on because he does one of the best ones. But I don't think in all these years we've ever had back-to-back Union City guests. So this is kind of a first for Outdoors with Larry Ray. I appreciate Brent Callicott talking weather for all you waterfowl hunters out there. Well, we're going to talk right now with one of my favorite places. I was really privileged to be at this place before it ever opened, when the Tennessee Outdoor Writers Association met up in Union City, and I had a chance to tour it. I've been up there many times since then. My son's been up there. I don't know. It's hard to believe this is the 10th anniversary for Discovery Park of America, and we're really happy to have on Outdoors with Larry Ray Scott Williams. He is the president and chief executive officer for Discovery Park of America. Good morning, Scott.
Good morning. How are you?
I am wired, buddy, when I can talk to you.
Well, what took you so long to get two back-to-back Union City guests?
I have no idea. I didn't even know it till we just started talking a while ago, and I didn't realize that. So I've got to watch that. I got to break them up a little bit here. But all my listeners up in West Tennessee. But 10 years, Scott, pretty amazing. What the Kirkland family and everything like that. I thought we would have had I-69 completed by now. You know, we're still working on that. I'm hoping in my lifetime. But talk about.
I was told
what?
That it is going to open before Thanksgiving.
What? Are you serious?
They got a week.
Are you serious?
I mean, it's ready. I look out of the tower and look down there, and it looks ready to me. So all they got to do
do y'all
is,
hear that? We're hearing it from Scott himself, and I then said. I don't know. Let's praise the Lord. I mean, we're going to get that thing going up there. But 10 years, Scott, talk about that, and then we'll kind of go in because there's a lot of things going on. Well, you put out great press information. Folks, we run all of this on LarryRay.com, all the press releases because there's so much going on. Talk about this first 10 years, Scott.
Yeah, I've only been here for 5 years of it, and Mr. Rippey was here for the first 5 years as the president, and so altogether it's been 10 years since they opened the doors on November 1st, 2013. Since that time, Robert Kirkland, they told him nobody was going to come this far to visit, a place like this. And it's been 250,000 visitors a year. Have gotten to come through here. 250,000 a year. It's growing. This year's even more. It is making an impact on the young folks, the old folks, the middle-aged, children and adults are coming in here, learning things they didn't know before, having amazing experiences. And then we have actually triggered quite an economic development here in the area. Our fourth brand-new hotel recently opened.
Yes.
Restaurants, things to do, to accompany Reelfoot Lake. Lot of stuff happening here in Union City thanks to Robert and Jenny Kirkland's vision for Discovery Park.
And, of course, Scott has his days at Graceland here. We've known Scott a long time, and was so happy when he took over this position because there's so much going on, Scott, and you guys have to prepare so far in advance now for Discovery Park of America because the vision there was this is going to be an educational experience, right? I mean,
that's right.
You're making memories, right? I mean,
100%. Robert Kirkland's vision was for a museum and heritage park that would inspire children and adults to see beyond, meaning they would be exposed to things that maybe they had never thought about before and would leave here and go research on their own, check out a book at the library, do a Google search, learn more about a particular topic that lit their fire. A lot of the kids that come here, it's their very first time to see an escalator.
Yes.
And so our escalators and elevators are in glass.
First one. We had to line up for my first one in Little Rock, Arkansas when I was a kid. And I don't know how many times I rode that escalator at the Blast department store. And you guys have that so much to do, folks. I mean, you need to spend a couple of days to do what they've got. And they've got something that started on November the 10th, another great event. Talk about the Duck, Duck, Goose waterfowl of Mississippi Flyway.
Absolutely. So when we try to think of what things we want to add, we try to add things that will both be unusual and new, but also things that accompany the rest of the experience here to Northwest Tennessee. And we had a little bit about waterfowl, but we needed a whole exhibit. So we've got this $1.1 million exhibit called Duck, Duck, Goose Waterfowl of the Mississippi Flyway. It's both inside the museum here and it's outside in the Heritage Park. And honestly, it's the only one of its kind in the entire world.
Amazing. And I'm looking at all the exhibits. This is a permanent exhibit, right, Scott? I mean, it's going to be there, folks. So it's not just there from November the 10th to December the 12th or anything like that, because you can just about spend a day. And Ducks Unlimited is tied into this. And, of course, I've got to get up there because I'm a Theodore Roosevelt groupie. I've read everything there is about Theodore Roosevelt, Teddy Roosevelt. You've got Roosevelt's Maltese cross cabin? Are you telling me this?
Yeah, well, we don't have the actual
cabin,
but
you've got,
but we have a cabin that's very similar to it.
That's what I mean.
So we thought, what better way to tell the story, right?
Yes, and that's part of it. And you got a lake, you got a Reelfoot Lake style duck blind. So how did this all come together?
You know, what we do when we create an exhibit like this is we do a lot of like what Robert Kirkland did at the very beginning. We call folks who we think are interested in the topic, and we say, we're going to put together an exhibit. What do you think should go in it? And people come to us with ideas, and they brainstorm. And, of course, duck hunters and conservationists are both very passionate, invested.
Are they? I'm sitting next to one right now, I mean, I know.
Right.
Yes.
And so some of our folks that actually hunt on Reelfoot Lake said, we want to build a duck blind on your water that looks just like a duck blind we build at Reelfoot Lake. We talked to our friends at Higdon out of Paducah, and they said, we want to bring duck decoys, and we want to put them out on the water. And so if you come to Discovery Park today, as you're walking through our door, you'll see far off to the right a duck blind with ducks all in the middle of it. So I know people who don't know about that are shocked at what they see. But it's actually really, really beautiful. And then Ryan Graves is a well-known collector of duck calls and memorabilia, and he loaned us some things to put in the exhibit. And then, of course, there's a lot of high-tech stuff. But we made sure everything was right. We ran it past our friends at Ducks Unlimited, and we had some other consultants on the exhibit. And so, people who will visit the exhibit are not like your listeners. These folks don't know anything about duck hunting or conservation or the duck stamp or any of this. So for a lot of people, this is going to be all new information. So we're excited to get to tell that story.
And you got some touch stations. Talk about those. I mean,
there's a couple of places where we've put in some technology, but at the same time, we wanted to feel a little bit old school. Yeah. So they took an old Ducks Unlimited field guide, made it gigantic, so it's taller than I am, and then there's an interactive screen in it so that you can experience different kinds of waterfowl and hear what they sound like, see what they look like. And in fact, our archivist and I, the other day, we were out in front of our cabin, and there was an actual duck there with our usual ducks we have, but it would look different. And she said, I think that's a coot. And I said, I think you're correct. So she and I learned something from the work. We've been able to spot the different kinds of breeds. So that's what we want everybody to get to do.
Frank, isn't that something that you need to take your grandkids to, Frank? I mean,
we're going to go there.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
You need to go there.
Oh, yeah. It's definitely on our list.
Are you still taking memorabilia, Scott? I have some items. I've been around a long time. I've been looking for a place to some of these things I've had from the 40s and 50s from Henry Reynolds and before that. Would you accept any more memorabilia?
Yeah, what we do is our archivists take them, and then we have a collections committee that meets once a month.
Okay.
And they run through, because what we want to make sure is that we have the bandwidth to care for the items that people donate.
Yes.
Sometimes museums will take stuff and then not be able to take care of them. So we want to make sure that we can do that. So, yeah, just you shoot me a picture, and I'll give it to Jennifer, and then we'll go from there.
Okay. Well, I think some lasting memories have been made in the duck blinds, and I know with Frank or whatever it might be. And folks, really 10 years of historic things, and there's so much other things going on. I know you got some big stuff. Tell us here in a few minutes. Christmas at Discovery Park is special too, isn't it?
Ooh, I'm telling you, we're so glad we got those lights up.
Yeah,
we've been putting lights up since August.
Yes, you're right.
We've got over 2 million lights on the property. Folks can either drive through, which is $10 a car if they don't feel like getting out, or they have maybe some senior family members who don't want to do a lot of walking. Or there's a walk-through where for $5 a person you can walk through.
Beautiful.
We've expanded that area because, on a Friday or Saturday night when your kids don't have to go back to school the next day, you can just let them run wild out there. So we have Santa Claus is there on the weekends and the whole week leading up to Christmas. People think he's at the North Pole, but
no.
He's got the elves doing that.
Yeah, you got a lot of stuff. And I know, folks, I love trains, you want to walk through a Pullman car, you can do that at Discovery Park and all these different kind of things. Hey, Scott, I appreciate it, buddy. Always good to have you on the show. Keep those press releases coming, and hopefully I can get up there sometime this winter just to see those lights, because I've heard nothing but great stuff. So have a great weekend, and we'll talk to you again, okay?
Sounds great. You too. Thanks for letting us talk about it.
All right, thanks, Scott. All right, let's take a break on Outdoors with Larry Ray. We'll be right back.